guys. That was good. That was really good. You can all hear me well, right? I didn't go for the big mic because I'm very loud, so I have this little one. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, my story, and my experience in video marketing, and then I will open it up for questions. So if at any point something is of interest to you or you want clarity on something that I go over, just write it down, and I'm happy to do a little Q&A at the end here before we break for lunch. But basically, I was very fortunate to drop out of college and start a video licensing company out of my apartment when I was 23. I quickly found that there was a need in the marketplace for safe, licensed video clips for large blogs on Facebook. A lot of them had previously grown their following through video content. However, they were basically just curating without permission, stealing and reposting other people's clips, and that is illegal. So eventually Facebook cracked down, and all of these pages that had historically depended on these clips no longer knew what to do, and I saw a need to fill that space, and I learned how to license video content and facilitate deals between the content owner, the owner of the media, the owner of the clip, and the page owner. And I did that for years. This is how I learned a lot of what I know about video marketing. It was a really successful company. I ended up scaling it. I got an investment by the time I was 24. I had over 40 employees. I was doing thousands of videos per month distributed across Facebook, and over 1 billion views cumulatively per month on my clients' videos at my peak. So that was actually around the time that I met Max and Jeremy. And they were kind enough to let me know that that's data that I was sitting on. And I didn't do anything with paid ads. I didn't do any media buying. I was just curating and relicensing organic video content for large Facebook pages. So thank you, Jeremy, and thank you, Max, for the pro tip that I was sitting on quite a bit of data. And it ended up evolving where I started to work with consumer products and got companies to pay me to produce a still organic, viral style video on their product and post it across my clients' pages. So it was a beautiful model because my clients who were paying me, we in turn started providing value back to them by bringing them consumer products and paying them per view to post on their page. So what we were able to do then is take that data from the organic video and retarget all of those viewers through media buying campaigns. So it scaled up. I was at one point doing advertising campaigns for Petco. We were just talking about San Diego, me and my new friend Chris here, because Petco's in San Diego. I used to go out there a lot. I was working for Yahoo. I did campaigns with BuzzFeed on Facebook. And life was good. Life was good. I had a good business. Things seemed on the surface like I should be happy, like I should be fulfilled. But really, deep down, I was miserable. And something really cool about business sometimes is that it can show us what we need to work on within ourselves because we have this unconscious belief that once I have the money, once I have the business, once I have the car, then I will have that feeling I'm searching for. And I got all those things and quickly realized I still did not have that feeling. And so this is not going to be your typical marketing talk. I am happy to meet with any of you at any point throughout the weekend or the week here to talk about how to structure your video content, how to edit it, when to post it, how to write headlines, how to write copy. I can go over all of those things, and that's largely what I've been teaching people for years. But today, I want to share with you the number one thing that I have learned about marketing since that original business on Facebook. So I quickly realized that I had this big chip on my shoulder, like really, really big, like Grant Cardone's ego big. Like it was large, and I'm sure that a lot of you in this room could probably relate. You know, it's not uncommon to find an entrepreneur who's mainly an entrepreneur because they actually deep down have something to prove to the world, but actually underneath it all, they're trying to prove something to themselves. So I realized after I had accumulated all this success at a fairly young age that something else was going on, that I wasn't happy and that I wasn't fulfilled. And I was quite depressed. I was suicidal. I was drowning in toxic shame. I hated myself. And I had basically built this business to create this armor around me to project to everyone else in the outer world that I was okay. You know, I wanted so badly to protect my secret that only I knew, that really I was flawed and defective as a human being. And I didn't want anyone to know that. So I was accumulating money and success and doing all these videos and working in digital marketing. It was so fun. But that was actually my secret. My secret was I was depressed and I felt incapable. I felt flawed and defective as a human being. And that feeling led me to enter into relationships that did not respect me, did not care about me, enter into business partnerships that didn't value me, that took advantage of me. So I'm at one of my points in life, there was a few, but I'm at one of the points where I'm really starting to hit rock bottom. I had been doing this business for years. I felt stuck. I wanted to go off on my own, but I felt like I couldn't. I felt dependent on my partners that I had acquired by this point. And I remember writing in my journal, in my diary, a sort of prayer. And this was in 2018, actually. So I wrote down this: God, please send me a sign that things will get better for me. Please send me a sign that my life will have purpose and won't be in vain. Please help me feel alive again. And that was it. I wrote it, I closed it, and I didn't put the pieces together until a few months after, but it was only 1 week from the time that I wrote that entry in my diary that I met a man in Milwaukee who was also a video marketer, and he told me about LinkedIn. He said, I'm on LinkedIn, and it's great. And I was like, LinkedIn? Like, isn't that for old people or like job seekers? Like, what are you doing on LinkedIn? And he was like, no, LinkedIn, like video just came out as a function on LinkedIn. They didn't used to have video on LinkedIn. Like, this is new. And you're in video marketing. You know everything about video, Shay. You should get on LinkedIn and make your own videos to attract leads, inbound leads, just like I'm doing. And I thought, like, well, okay, there must be something here. He's in a similar industry. I do know everything about video marketing. I have yet to create my own video content. I had been making it for everyone else at that point. And so I decided to give it a go. And again, I was heavily masked. You know, I was like, okay, I'm going to be on LinkedIn. I'm the video girl. I'm going to give tips, I guess. And I'm going to just, share my expertise, right? Well, something else started happening. I noticed right away that LinkedIn was great. I was able to break through the noise and break through the competition, which is actually, there's not a lot of competition on LinkedIn. Still today, there's not a lot. But, I was able to quickly see the opportunity that A, there's not a lot of people doing video here, and B, the people doing video don't have the expertise I have in video and really know how to leverage it here. So right away, I was doing great. But still deep down, not feeling good. Still deep down, feeling unfulfilled. And I started to gain trust with the platform. I started to realize that the actual people close to me in my life, I didn't feel safe with. I didn't feel like I could talk to these things about. I didn't feel like I could be myself with. But the commenters on LinkedIn and the people who messaged me, they were just all so conscious and supportive that I learned to trust them. And one day I was, again, feeling very depressed. And I decided, you know what? What if I just told people this? What if I just said that I had depression? Oh my God, will I die though? And I did it. That's what I did. This was within the first couple weeks I was on LinkedIn. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna make a video admitting, hey, as I've gotten into my 20s, I've really started to develop a lot of depression. And I don't know what to do. Does anyone have any advice? And that was really the gist of the video. That was it. It was just me. I was actually in San Diego when I shot it. I remember I was at my Airbnb like, hey, I'm depressed. I don't know what to do. Do you guys have any tips? And it was by far the highest performing video that I had gotten on LinkedIn at that point. It was flooded with comments of people sharing their experience, giving me advice, giving me love, giving me support. I got tons of messages about it. I got tons of messages from people saying they were depressed and they didn't feel like they could talk about it and they didn't know what to do. So, simultaneously, I'm getting all this support of people like, here's what I do to get out of it. I've been in these places, Shay. It's okay. You're supported. And at the same time, I also got all these people saying, thank you. Thank you for saying this because I don't feel like I can say this. And then something else really crazy happened. I got leads. I got fucking leads on a video where I said I was depressed. Literally, I remember one woman, she's like, oh, I just love your vulnerability and how willing to get raw you are. I would love to get a quote from your company. These are the professionals I'd like to work with. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not only am I not blatantly rejected by everyone like I was fearing, I'm getting support, I'm giving other people permission to speak their truth, and I'm getting business? What is going on here? So I started to find my voice. I started to feel a lot better because as it turns out, when you get honest and put it out there, you liberate yourself from that very thing that you were previously a slave to and imprisoned to. And so after doing the LinkedIn videos, and I did 3 original selfie videos per week, nothing crazy. I didn't do crazy cuts or crazy edits at this point. I was just filming myself. And I did share video marketing tips. I did share my industry and my expertise so people knew what service I provided and who I helped. But I really just talked about me. I started to get it even more raw. I started talking about my family and how I don't talk to my family. I had already made the tough decision to cut out my family at this point in my life. And I started talking about it. I said, I was never supported by my family, and it really just killed me. And then again, tons of messages of people saying the same thing. Oh yeah, you're not alone. I haven't talked to my parents in years. People think that I'm anti-family. I had to get away from them. My older brothers never supported me. It killed me. And I'm like, wow, I'm really not alone. So I did this for 2 months, 3 videos a week, every week consistently. And within 2 months, my first 2 months on LinkedIn, I had generated over 6 figures in revenue for my Facebook advertising agency at the time. So the light bulbs were going off. I was like, wait a minute. There's a whole nother business here on LinkedIn. If I can make this much money through LinkedIn, through organic video content, and I can speak my truth, and I have a community of people that are going to accept me, what am I doing in this Facebook agency that I've grown to really resent? So I left. I sold my shares, and I pivoted to LinkedIn completely. So once I got on LinkedIn, I decided to open a LinkedIn marketing company where I essentially take all of the principles, all of the data, and everything I had learned on Facebook about video marketing, and I train business owners on how they can apply it to their LinkedIn to attract inbound leads just like I have. And I started to attract business right away. You know, my business started taking off. It was quite the learning curve to get over that place of codependency. You know, I had been very, very codependent. I didn't think that I could, as a woman, do business alone. You know, I thought I needed men, and there was all of these hard things that I had to get through. But I started to do it, and I just started to have faith of, you know what, I would rather be happy than anything else at this point. I would rather lose all of this money and, you know, these relationships I formed with these men and just be alone and be happy. And the funny thing is, when we follow our truth, even though we're scared of losing something and we're scared of losing control, God or the universe, you know, will actually reward us by taking care of us anyways. So I started to make more money doing it all by myself. I started to make more money than when I had partners and investors, and I was doing it 100% solo. People were coming to me. I was posting more and more videos. I was encouraging more and more people to get active on the LinkedIn platform. And I started to accumulate this community of not just followers, but clients who really align with me. Clients who really align with me. They know the real me. They're attracted to me. You know, they're buying me. There's a million other marketing services out there. What's different is no one is me. And so I started to coach them. I started to, you know, have the people come in. And I had my online programs all about like, okay, here's what I learned on Facebook. Here's how you curate content. Here's how you come up with ideas. Here's how you write the scripts. Here's how you write the headlines. Here's how to come up with really engaging CTAs that's going to pull people in the comments. And after coaching hundreds, I've literally coached hundreds of business owners now on LinkedIn, I started to, again, collect data. And I started to realize that most people, they actually weren't coming to me for marketing. They were coming because they also wanted permission to speak their truth and to be who they really are. And it just killed me. You know, I'm like, wait a minute, like I'm not alone. Actually, I'm not weird at all. I think I'm maybe like one of the first people just being honest. I mean, literally, every coaching call, it would come back to the same thing. It would come back to this person being so scared to be themselves on camera and to speak about what they believe in, what they really want to talk about. I mean, I would have grown 50-year-old men on the phone talking about, I don't even like my business. I don't want to do it anymore, and I'm scared to tell my wife. I'm like, what? I'm like, you're scared to tell your wife what's really going on? What kind of children are you raising? You're not being honest. You know, kids see that. Kids will do what you do, not what you tell them to do. And so I had this big awakening where I realized I need to teach people that it's safe to be themselves. That is what the world is craving most. Not these fucking headlines. But they do help, and I can help with headlines still. Why do we live in a world where so many people feel like they can't be themselves? Is a question I started to ask myself. I knew from my childhood and my own research about narcissistic parenting and what had gone on with my parents, I started to piece it together how I came to be an extremely talented, healthy, successful 24-year-old woman, and I felt flawed and defective as a human being. That was my core belief, that I am not enough. I am flawed and defective. Not all the money that I generated, all the people that I helped, all the content creators I helped go viral. Nope. Core belief, I'm flawed and I'm defective as a human being. And I thought I was rare. That's the crazy thing. I thought I was like so rare. I'm not rare. Client after client that comes to me has this same core belief. I can't do it though. I'm not worthy. And I tell you, the clients of mine that have the most success on LinkedIn are the ones who decided, I'm going to start telling the truth. I'm going to start sharing who I really am. And I'm not going to be scared to turn off business, because guess what? Any business that you turn off for being yourself is a client you don't want to fucking deal with anyways. You want to be who you really are. And if you're burned out at work, if you feel like overwhelm after overwhelm after overwhelm and stress in this business and I can't maintain, I'm so burnt out, I'm so exhausted, it's not the work that is exhausting you. It is the mask that you developed as a child that you still wear today, and you are exhausted from putting on this mask, putting on this facade, and putting on this show because it's not really you. It doesn't matter how many millions and millions of dollars you generate. It doesn't matter the biggest empire you build. If it is built on a lie, you will eventually want to destroy it. You won't want it anymore. It's not really you. And so the clients that have had the most success are the people that I have convinced it is safe now. It is safe for you to speak your truth. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about, and you can have faith that the right people are going to find you. I started to attract clients that I had nothing to hide from. They knew everything about me. Literally, I said I was depressed, and people still wanted to work with me. I mean, it was amazing. How liberating. How much more free would you feel if all of your employees knew the real you? You know, I can call my employees. I can tell them, I'm having a day. I'm going to lay in bed all day and probably cry. And they're like, okay, Shay's doing her thing. We got you. Like, there's nothing to hide here. It's completely transparent. So the reason that I bring this up is because this is the most effective marketing strategy. Being honest. Being who you really are. I know that it's scary, and I know that a lot of us are conditioned to believe that in order to generate business, we have to be kind of, have this perfect business image. We have to have a suit and a tie, and we have to humble brag about, Forbes 30 under 30.
I haven't mentioned that. In like 2 years, I haven't mentioned that to anyone.
I'm just fucking with you. And that's great. And that's cool. You should be proud of those accomplishments. You really should. But the reality is, people do business with people. There's a famous quote, and it's emotions don't belong in business. I mean, we've all heard that, right? My ex-investor said that to me quite a bit as an emotional, traumatized, unhealed woman, and he wasn't wrong. But emotions don't belong in business. But then people do business with people, not businesses. Those two things actually contradict one another. If people do business with people, not businesses, how are they supposed to feel connected to you as a human being if you don't share your raw, authentic human experiences? So, we've been conditioned to believe, so many in society have been conditioned to believe they need to wear this mask. They can't be who they really are, because at some point in your life, somebody made you feel unsafe to be who you really are. Somebody told you you weren't performing well enough. Your dad criticized you all the time, whereas he could never make a fucking mistake. Your mom told you had to get better grades. You had to be like that kid or that kid. Your older siblings told you weren't good enough. You were made fun of. You were bullied. You were laughed at when you did a dance and you were being authentically you. You were a child, and somebody shamed you for that. Somebody laughed at you. And you took on the core belief of, oh shit, I must be flawed and defective as a human being. And this happens in childhood so often. And then we carry that with us. We carry it into our adult life, still believing, no way is it safe to be myself. Because maybe as a child, it wasn't safe to be yourself. You know, childhood is a hostage situation. Children are at the mercy of their parents. And if their parents won't give them love for being who they really are and instead have conditional love, which is what narcissistic parents do, the child will be forced to split from their true selves and create a facade, create a false self to survive, to get love from those parents. Okay, this is a real thing, and it's a survival mechanism. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I went through it. A lot of you probably went through it too. The hardest part is as an adult coming back to yourself, learning, oh shit, this mask is no longer helping me survive. In fact, it's killing me. It's driving me to the point where I almost killed myself until I decided to take a chance on God, write a prayer in my journal asking to give me life, to give me purpose, to give me meaning again. And a week later, I met this guy who taught me about LinkedIn. And LinkedIn and all of my fans and all of my supporters there taught me that I'm really not flawed and defective as a human being. I'm actually normal. And I'm actually just one of the few people able to admit the things about myself that aren't all the way healed and aren't all the way perfected yet. And that's okay. That is why people follow me. That is why people love me. I have clients who've had their highest performing video in terms of leads was about them getting a divorce. They just went on LinkedIn and said, I'm getting a divorce, man. Divorce sucks. How many people can relate to that? How many people went through that? I know a girl with over 100,000 followers on LinkedIn, quit her corporate job, or no, I'm sorry, she didn't quit her corporate job. She got fired from her corporate job, went to LinkedIn, this was years ago when she had no following, and made a post saying, oh my God, I got fired, what do I do? She exposed the shame. You know, she put the shame outside of her. She said, what do? I got fired. She got flooded with support. She ended up creating a blog out of it. She's a LinkedIn trainer now. She has hundreds of thousands of followers, and all from a post where she admitted she got fired. Something a lot of people would be too ashamed to admit. Those are the things people relate to. And when we live in a world where everyone has been conditioned to wear a mask and everyone has been conditioned to only share the highlight reel, the good things about themselves, when you get on and tell the truth and share the hardships and share the struggles and share the honest human experience of what you're going through, you attract people like a magnet. I mean, there's a couple ways to look at it, right? In a world full of lies, you could say the truth gets you hated. But there's a lot of people who want the truth. There's a lot of people who crave the truth, and they feel like they can't talk about it because nobody has yet given them permission. I started giving people permission. I made a video once about why owning a business sucks and why some days I want to quit and literally go back to my waitressing job. It got over 200,000 views and thousands of comments on LinkedIn of business owners sharing their experience. Paragraph-long comments, literally paragraph-long. I know exactly how you feel. I've been in the same boat. Oh, what do you do actually? Click back to my profile. Oh, video marketing. Oh, I think I need some video marketing. It's like, that's how you get people in the door. I made a video admitting that I had no idea what I was doing in business. I think the bar on top said I have no idea what I'm doing. And literally, I think I do know what I'm doing with video marketing, guys. Trust me. But I think it was like tax season or something, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, I'm just gonna make a video about it. I'm a young entrepreneur. I'm figuring it out as I go. I have no idea what I'm doing. I literally make it up as I go, guys. I get so many messages from young people who want to be an entrepreneur, and they ask you, how did you do it? What's your roadmap, Shay? I don't know. I just guessed. I completely guessed. And I got the most leads from that one video than I did the entire month. From a video admitting I have no idea what I'm doing. She's depressed and has no idea what she's doing. Take my money. Just take it. So I share this with you all today to remind you that we are in the age of... Well, we're moving into the age of Aquarius, for those of you who like astrology. But But really, we are in the age of awakening. We are in the age of awakening. People are waking up. People are realizing the way that we have raised our children and the way that we have perpetually shamed our children and put it on them to reflect to the world how amazing we are as a parent has not fucking worked. That has not fucking worked. That has created generation after generation of children who grow up with the core belief that I am flawed and defective as a human being, and the only way that I'll be accepted and have success in life is to wear a mask. And they cling to that mask. That becomes their ego, their defenses, their story. And we are waking up. People are realizing, okay, looks like mental illness is an epidemic. Addiction, obesity, divorce. I mean, the list goes on and on. People are waking up. We are sick and tired of being sick and tired as a society, and that is a beautiful thing. It's painful right now, but it's causing people to get brave. It's causing people to turn to what I did, which is click post on a video that scares the shit out of you. Like, I'm depressed. Okay, I can't believe that I'm going to post this right now, but I'm just going to do it. I'm going to click post. I'm like not going to look like, okay, I posted it. Those are the posts that are fire. Those are the posts that go viral. The posts where you're like, yeah, I'm not worried at all what people are going to comment about this. This is very nihilist and won't offend anyone. You'll post that, no problem. But do you think you're going to connect to people? Probably not a lot. The most effective marketing strategy as a business owner in 2020 is to get on video and tell the truth. What do you believe in? Yes, people aren't going to like it. So what? People aren't going to like you even with your mask. Even with your mask, there will still be people who hate you. Trust me. So why not be who you really are and deal with it then? So I'm going to wrap up in a little bit. I'm going to do questions. Basically, you know, at the end of the day, what I've learned is the most effective marketing strategy is to be yourself. To be yourself. This is how you attract clients who align with you. You don't have to hide who you really are. You attract people who want to work with the real you. You attract employees who want to work with the real you. You attract followers who follow you for you. You know, that is the greatest blessing. When you build a following, and you build a brand, and you build a business on insecurity, and from that place of ego and mask and what's not really you, I promise you, you will eventually want to burn it to the ground. Take a risk. Turn down the money if you feel like it's not authentically you. It's not about the money. The money comes. Like I said, I am making more money now by myself than I ever did having partners, and I'm authentic. I get to be me. I don't have to wear this mask anymore. So, the world is craving this now. What I want to encourage you all to do, and I'm serious about, you know, the video marketing. I can help you all with the technical stuff, and I do have a program. But, you know, I want to encourage you to get honest. I really want to encourage you to be yourself. I want to encourage you to cry in front of your children. And I know it might seem weird that a 28-year-old woman who's never been married or had kids is telling you how to parent right now. Triggered. But if you can trust my experience that I was a child. I was a child. And that perfectionism that was put on me from my parents, that projection of, I have a mask, so now you need to wear a mask as my child, nearly caused me to kill myself. Don't do it. It's okay to tell your kid you're having a bad day. It's okay to say, you know, mommy is sad right now. Daddy's having a hard day. Maybe not every day. You know, don't put it on your kid like they're your therapist. But at least sometimes, kids need permission to be human. I asked one of my coaches the other day. She's an inner child worker. She helps you get in touch with the inner child. And I asked her, you know, how do we fix this parenting epidemic? How do we teach parents how to really raise healthy kids? And she says, we don't need to teach them anything. The kids teach us. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, the kids are more in touch with their emotions than we are as adults. As adults, we built all the defenses. We built all of the guards and oh, I'm feeling sad now, let me get a beer. This is like we're on autopilot, like don't feel the emotions. Kids don't have that. Kids fall, they scrape their knee, they cry. They let it out right there. It's us, the adults, who start to program them to not feel those emotions. They are authentically human. They are our teachers. They are feeling their emotions as they come up, talking about it with no shame until they get to the point where they're shamed so badly for having those human emotions, they retreat and they build that mask. Get honest. This is what the world is craving now. People are sick of living in a world of lies. And the best part about all of this is that when you get on camera and be your true self, you give permission for other people to do the same. And wouldn't it be awesome if we lived in a world where we were all honest? What if we all said what we thought? Think about this. Cavemen did not have quite the filter from what they thought to what they said. If cavemen could talk. Whatever the first human that could talk. Primal beings. Think about it. They didn't like filter like, oh, but what's my mom gonna say? What do my teachers think? They were just like, I need food. Like it was just like it just came out. And as time has gone on, the gap between what we think and what we say out loud has just been stretching and stretching and stretching and stretching to the point where, lo and behold, 2020, that is snapping now. That is snapping. People are like, whoa, we are really living in a false reality and we need to wake up. So, again, I'm happy to share about all the other marketing stuff that I have learned over the years. And I do know quite a bit about video on social media and how to navigate the news feed and how to hack the algorithm and all that good stuff. But I figured that at this event, there would be a lot of other people covering stuff like that. And I wanted to share. I would be doing a disservice to all of you if I didn't share the most effective marketing strategy of all, which is to be vulnerable and to be honest. And when you do that, you give other people permission to do the same. Thank you. 15 minutes?
Great job, by the way.
Oh, I love you. I didn't mean Forbes comment.
No, it's fine. It's your authentic self.
Yeah, it is my authentic self, yes.
Can we you mind getting a picture? We'll get a picture. Is this good from like a spacing standpoint? Okay, we'll move on.
Okay.
Well, just everybody just stay patient.
Yeah.
While we're getting this picture. It's good. Yeah. Thank you. So if we're gonna do a little bit of Q&A. I just ask we ask into the microphone just so we're recording everything, so the question comes through the audio. Does anybody want to start? It's easy. Just pass the microphone, or I can help too, but just whoever.
Jimmy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He follows me on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We met in the elevator.
Thanks, Shay. That was an amazing speech. It really fired me up.
Oh, good.
What do you think about LinkedIn? Do you think what happened to you could have been done on a different platform, or was LinkedIn the right time, right place for you at that time to blow it up?
I think that there's a number of reasons to argue it couldn't have happened on any other platform because at the time, and LinkedIn is still really this way, it has gotten a little more saturated and competitive, but not much. At the time, there was so few people on LinkedIn creating content and so many users using LinkedIn. It's kind of like TikTok. When they only have so much content to pull from, the algorithm is like really generous. So it wasn't just that I knew video marketing and I had this honesty edge that drew people to me, but the algorithm was also really generous. So I just took advantage of that. And then the other thing that I will say about LinkedIn is, it's probably the most conscious platform. I mean, people are there to do business. People are there to better themselves. You don't have a lot of trolls. You don't have a lot of haters. So if I went on YouTube and made that video, or Facebook was, I'm depressed, you're right. Like, I don't know if the response would have been as supportive. So yeah, I do think that is the difference on LinkedIn.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. It was really powerful. It reminded me a lot of the stuff that I've been through, so I can identify the narcissistic parent. I also had a sociopath as a parent. So
me too. We're gonna have cocktails later, you and I.
But you know what was interesting to me is a couple things. One is that I didn't have the courage that you had as far as sharing my story. What I did do though, that was kind of a wuss-ass way to kind of still kind of get my story out, but not necessarily say it was mine. What I realized by coaching and hearing everybody tell me the same story was that which is most personal is most general. That the things that people don't want to share is actually what everyone else is thinking.
Yes.
And so like what I would do is I would write how many of my clients tell me this, right? And then a lot of other people would be like, oh my God, it feels like you're standing over my shoulder. Like that's the experience I went through, right? And that was really powerful. And so to hear you kind of like just be more forthright is even more powerful. And the other thing that I recognized in my own life, and I've recognized it in a bunch of my clients' life, and so I just add this to what you said, like that what we're deprived of in childhood, right, is often the passion that if we can tap into giving that to others becomes this greater cause that's bigger than ourselves that actually pulls us to greatness, like to execute at a much higher level than we're actually capable of for selfish reasons, right? When you tap into the, like what you were deprived of as a child, which is obviously very emotional for each and every one of us, and now you see yourself providing that for other people as part of like what your purpose is, right? That I have found for myself, as well as a lot of people that I've coached, becomes like the driving force to like execute at just an amazing level. And so just props to you for being courageous to share your story because it's not easy, I know that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. What was your name?
Rich.
Rich?
Yeah.
Really, really great point. Like that's what I said in that like journal entry. Like it's so weird. And I had actually really struggled. Well, yeah, I got mine too. But I had like really, really struggled with my faith in God. I didn't really know if I believed in God. I used to say this phrase, God hates me. God hates me. But I learned later that was how I felt about my parents. When you're a little kid, your parents are God. I mean, that's like the representation. So when you have parents who are shameless, which they're actually shame-based, they're drowning in shame, but they act shameless. How many of you like, oh, my parents would never admit they made a mistake? Never. Never in a million years. That's spiritually abusing the child because you're playing God. And so that was why I had a fucked up relationship with faith. And something in me was like, just pray, like something in me anyways, like just write this down. And if you remember, it was literally, I want to find purpose, I want to find meaning, and I want to feel alive again. And like, that's exactly what happened through this blog. It was like, oh, wow, now I know my purpose is to not make viral fucking videos, like, which is fun, but it's to show other people that this is the best marketing strategy. You want to go viral? What did he just say? The most personal stuff is the most relatable stuff. And we're all so scared to share it. But it's like, this is why AA is so successful. People show up and they're like, I'm Tim and I'm an alcoholic. They just put this shame out there. And then everyone else is like, me too. And then they're all like, oh, you feel that way about, oh, I feel that way about, let's all exchange numbers and be friends. That's real humanity. So thank you, Rich.
And just one last thing, just to answer your question, because I haven't done it, but like he publishes some clients, this is Julian. He publishes some clients of his. One of them is Wes Watson. He's a YouTube personality from prison and extremely authentic, extremely real, and highly relatable because of that. And then, so I think it works on every platform. And then I have another like colleague friend, Katrina Ruth, who's a guru in Australia, who's very real on Facebook. And same thing, like, certain days she's out there saying she's going to kill it. Other days she says, my life sucks and I don't I'm trying to turn it around. Mm-hmm. And she crushes it. So I think it can work on any platform. It's just whether you have the balls enough to be honest and forthright.
Yes.
That takes balls.
I love that.
So thank you for being vulnerable through all that.
You're
I know
welcome.
It's probably not easy to share every time, although it's empowering to share. I think I had pretty supportive parents, so I apologize for that.
Man, fuck you.
But it'll help challenge me to think about whether I'm being a supportive parent to my kids. Question for you, as you look at keep going. Okay.
Oh.
All right. So you're looking at this as kind of a service provider, kind of professional services where you are selling more or less. If we're a retailer for a product, how does a product-based company have that same kind of transparency and authenticity? Can you give maybe some thoughts on how it can be?
Great question. And it's one I get a lot, more so in my traditional marketing speech about LinkedIn marketing. I get asked that question a lot. It really comes down to if you're willing to be or to have someone be the face. So I work with business owners. I don't necessarily work with brands anymore. I used to on Facebook. I work with companies where it's either small, medium business owner and they are the face, they run the show, or it is a bigger brand, but they have someone willing to be that kind of spokesperson on behalf. And I do recommend that. I mean, the personal brands are a lot easier for people to relate to. So if you're willing to use your personal LinkedIn profile, which is what I teach, to talk about the other perspective of the brand, which is, hey, you guys, this is me behind the brand. I'm the business owner. I want to tell you a little bit about my journey here. How did I get into this business? Maybe there's a story there. There was some hardship, some struggle for you to get going to create your product. It's not really about the product and explaining how amazing your product is. It's about you and your story, and that's what gets people to connect to the product. So I strongly encourage you to have a personal brand associated with the brand. And you can do both. I run company pages too on LinkedIn. It's a company page. It's a little more, just professional about the business. But the business owner is the one talking about all the things I just mentioned. Oh. Would you please stand up? You told him. Be authentic. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you so much, Shay.
Yes.
So what really resonated with me and I'm most interested in hearing more about is your comment about finding your voice. Because we've got a YouTube channel. It's small, but we're trying to grow it. And we help people over 50 defeat joint pain, exercises and stretches. I'm trying to I'm curious to hear your take on what's the balance between finding your voice and being authentic and being customer-centric and focusing on their needs. Oftentimes, I'm not a PT by trade or a DPT, and so I'm often thinking, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. I don't know how to solve your joint pain. We do a really good job of it, but there are times when I think that. So how do you balance finding your voice or being authentic with, is it just sharing personal stories? Right now, my wife and I, we've got 4 kids. We're traveling around the country in an RV. And there are times when we're both this fucking sucks. We're ready to throw in the towel. Would that be good YouTube content for our joint pain channel?
It would. I mean, it's not too different from what I mentioned with him, right? I would keep the business separate, but if people are willing to dive deeper in the brand, they want to know more, you can actually use the business page to leverage your brand. So you can, in one video, give them a crumb, give them hey guys, by the way, I'm the owner. If you want to see more about my personal life, follow me here. And then you can literally talk about anything you want. Business owners are human. It doesn't have to do with the joint pain. But I will say in regards to the brand and how to connect from an authentic place is really to focus on the personal stories or challenges or experiences that you've had that relate to your target demographic. What do all people with joint pain have in common? Maybe stress, maybe... Yeah, joint pain. Yeah, sure.
They can't live the life that they want to live, right?
Right.
So they can't garden, they can't, golf. They're feeling like they're losing their independence. Their life is being stripped away by this joint pain.
What is your solution for that? By the way, what is the product for the pain?
Well, it's rehab programs. We specifically use isometric based exercises because they're not movement based, so it's not aggravating the joint. So we really focus on like isometric exercises as a mechanism to help heal the joint from the inside.
Yeah. You know, I mean, since you're in that business with so many people who are looking for healing, you might want to actually develop some sort of special program where you like incentivize them to share their story on your page. You know, hey, and not just a testimonial, like a real story, like how did I arrive at this point in my life where I have pain? And then use your clients to connect with other potential buyers.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
One thing to add to that, and this will be the last question. One of my favorite books about relationships and validation, he starts off the book by saying, I am not a therapist. I don't have any degrees for this, but I have spent the last 10 years dealing with all this bullshit myself. And for me, that was more relatable. So I just wanted to add that. Like, he started off his book and was like, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional, but I have invested the last 10 years of my life in therapy and doing all these things. And I actually like gained more respect and could relate to him more because of it, because sometimes medical professionals are a little out of touch when this guy was going through the exact same journey I was, you know? I hear you.
I love that. I love that.
Thank you for the talk.
Yes.
Awesome. Definitely changed my thinking and my perspective of the type of content that I want to produce. My question is more so on the technical side. So you're creating these videos, these very personal videos, then you're like watching them to make sure kind of like, all right, I'm saying what I want to say and do all that stuff. Is that like a big back and forth process, or are you just like, okay, this is it, candid, and then boom, you're just pressing post?
So that's a really good question. I do want to clarify the balance. You know, I'm not only getting on LinkedIn and crying about depression. I make videos about marketing, and I make videos giving, and this is what we'll probably be talking about all week. So you guys, you'll learn this, but like I just give away free value. You know, what would make my target market's lives easier? A free training about headlines, you know, 3 tips on how to go viral. Those videos I structure. Those videos I sit and I script out and I formulate them. They're like works of art. It's really the times that I'm authentic and I'm going to post something. It's like a rant.
It's that like in the moment, like
exactly.
I'm feeling it right now.
Yeah.
Let me just and then post it.
And yes, and that's actually, I'm glad you brought that up. That's what I encourage you all to do. The next time you get triggered, the next time you get really frustrated, just think, could I just like film how I'm feeling right now? Don't put the pressure on yourself of I'm gonna have to post this. Just like film it for yourself. Say, I'm gonna film this, I'm gonna rant about how I'm feeling. It's like a video diary, right? It's like a video diary, rant how you feel, and then you can decide later if you wanna post it or not. But those are really the pieces that I feel like connect with people a lot more, because they can see that I haven't scripted it. They can see it's not edited, it's raw, it's unfiltered and all of that. So I've done that many times where I've been triggered, I've been in the moment, I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna film a video about it. And I haven't always posted it. You know, like at the end of the day, I'm not telling you to not have any secrets. You know, there's such a thing as privacy, and we all have our own level of comfortability with being open. I happen to be a very open person already. So I do expose a lot, but there's still videos I'll record where I'm like, you know what, yeah, I'm not going to post that one, and just yet. I'm not going to talk about it yet. And that's okay. You know, that's okay. But I filmed it. So just practice. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Good. Let's give Shay another round of applause. Thank you.
Love you guys. Thank you, Jeremy. Give me a hug. I love you so much.